Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, khcentral here, back at it yet again with another Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind video for you guys today. Finally getting to talk about ReMind again with you guys. It's been a while, hasn't it? There's literally been like no news dropped ever since that last trailer dropped last month. They're being very, very quiet about this DLC, very mysterious with it. But I do have a speculation video for you guys today. This is like not official news. This is kind of based off something else. I think this video is going to be very interesting though, because I saw this little news story pop up last night that doesn't seem too huge. I mean, people are really excited about how cool it looks, but I think there could be some other implications for ReMind in this thing. Specifically, the release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind, or at least the release month of it. So I want to talk about that with you guys, share this with you guys, talk about it, you know, kind of speculate on what all this could mean, show how this could potentially be very exciting for ReMind in the future. Major note before we get into this, again, this is just speculation. This is not an official confirmation of anything. I'm just speculating based on what I see here. I could be completely wrong on this. So keep that in mind while watching this video. Take what I say with a grain of salt. So yeah. Let's just get into it. So, in case you didn't know, earlier this year, in January, this was announced. Disney hotels in Japan announced that they were going to be featuring a Kingdom Hearts themed suite at their Disney Ambassador Hotel, I think in Tokyo. I'll leave some pictures of what it looked like up on the screen right now so you can see what it looked like. As you can see, it's pretty cool. A very cool Kingdom Hearts theme going on there. I like that they featured Sora and Riku from the Dream Drop Distance art on there over the bed, you know. Dream sleep. It's funny. Even the walls have Kingdom Hearts theme on it. You can see at the top right there some film reels showing off the like classic Disney games, stuff like that. This was featured in that hotel from March to June of this year, so you can't rent this one specifically right now. It still looked really cool though. I wish there was some way I could have gotten this. It would have been so cool. But they just announced yesterday that they are going to be featuring that room again with an additional room to celebrate the release of ReMind, the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. It's going to have its own little design as well. Here's some pictures of that up on the screen right here. As you can see, there's some different stuff going on here. You know, like on the sheets right here, you can see there's kind of like a pattern that was similar to the one on the Special Edition PS4 Pro. Even like the door key to the room even is a keyblade, which is super duper cool. It's going to be specifically to celebrate ReMind's release. And you can also start reserving these rooms for your future trip if you plan to do that on November 14th. So hey, if you have the opportunity to go to Japan and want to rent this room right here for $460 a night, hey, you can go do that. But speaking of those dates, that's where it starts to get pretty interesting and starts hinting towards something around ReMind, at least in my view. The days that the room will actually be available to stay in are listed on the site as well. For the ReMind room, that will be open on January 10th, 2020, and will be available through April 13th, 2020. So a 3-month period there. The other special room for Kingdom Hearts 3 will be able to open the next day and will close the day after the ReMind one. So again, at first glance, this doesn't seem like much at all. You know, it seems ridiculous to say something big out of this. It's just a hotel room with the dates that it's going to be available. What's the big deal about that? Well, think about it. It is specifically celebrating the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. That's pretty obvious in the name of the freaking room itself. So if that's what you're doing with this, wouldn't you want it to coincide with the actual release of ReMind? Have it come out maybe a little bit after or before the actual DLC itself. And of course, we don't have a release date for ReMind as of yet, officially announced. We still have just this winter, but we have a specific date for this. It's starting on January 10th, smack dab in the middle of January. So if you want to release it around that date, and it's specifically in the middle, kind of get where I'm going at here, I think this might have very, very subtly confirmed that Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind is coming out in January. Sometime in January. If not even January 10th itself. I mean, it makes sense, again, if you think about it, because if you're celebrating the release of a very specific thing, wouldn't you want that celebration to start around the release of that specific thing? And it's starting smack dab in the middle of January. It could be any time around January, around that time, or maybe even later. It could even stretch into like early February to mid-February. That's still in winter. Spring doesn't really start until the end of March, or even into late to mid-December, around Christmas time. Companies don't generally release things around that time though. They usually do it in like November, you know, to catch all those Black Friday sales and stuff like that. But it's a DLC. There's no real rules on how to release DLC, so they could do whatever they want with it, I guess. I think this is something that is hinting towards a potential release time frame for Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. It may sound like I'm grasping at the hugest straw right here because of the thing I'm basing this off of, but again, celebrating the release of a specific thing, You would want it around the release of that specific thing. So it would also coincide with the 1-year anniversary of Kingdom Hearts 3's launch that came out, of course, in January of this year. To coincide with that would be a cool thing. It may sound like I'm digging way too deep into this, but again, it just makes sense to celebrate the release of something around the actual release of the thing. And I mean, hey, January release for ReMind, I'd be down with that. I'm not mad about that at all. You know, however long it takes them to make it great. Also celebrating 1-year anniversary of Kingdom Hearts 3's release, so that's pretty neat as well. I know some of you guys might be mad because it didn't release this year and you thought it was going to release this year, but they didn't tell us winter 2019. They just said this winter. That's what they said when they first announced it, and that's what they're still saying now. So that's a pretty open statement right there. Even when that release date was first announced, I was like, yeah, that's leaving it pretty open, so it could possibly release in 2020, and maybe they knew that was going to release in 2020 and they didn't want to disappoint fans necessarily, so they just put up this winter as like a consolidation. Or they didn't know themselves either if it was going to be in 2019 or 2020, so they just kind of put that up there as kind of an open thing in case it got delayed somehow and they didn't want to disappoint fans like they did the first time. So there you go. January release, it's fine. That's seemingly what they were kind of hinting at in the first place. But oh, we're not done yet, my friend, because there is another piece of release date speculation we can get out of this that's even better. Because if we look at this from a different angle, it could possibly put the release date much earlier than that. Possibly next month. So if we look at the original Kingdom Hearts 3 hotel room that was open earlier this year, those rooms weren't actually open for people to use until March, late March of this year. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in January. So that's about a 2-month difference. And the day that this was announced was also the day that reservations started. And what day does the ReMind room start reservations? November 14th. About 2 months before the rooms are actually open. November 14th, huh? Possible release date right there. Big old stretch. But if we're going with the original room here, November 14th, or at least sometime in November, is a possible release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. Now, remember, as I said in the beginning of this video, this is all just speculation. This is all just me speculating and making ideas based off what I see here. Nothing official. I may be completely fucking wrong on this. Who knows? But if it's celebrating the release of ReMind, and celebrating around that time, January could be a big possible release of ReMind itself. And if they might be basing it off the original like time thing that they were doing for the original Kingdom Hearts 3 Hotel Room, it might even be in November. It's a DLC, so it might not make sense to do like a 2-month out thing for that. It's not as big as like a full game. Who knows, really? From November to maybe like early February, that's kind of when I expect that to happen. You know, that's kind of when the general release of winter stuff happens. You know, maybe they're actually referring to the actual time of winter and not just the winter sales season. So they could be January as the possible release. Who knows? This is all just speculation, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that's all I have for this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed my crazed ramblings on this of possible Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind release dates based off hotel room dates. Sounds ridiculous, but again, it just makes sense, doesn't it? If you just think about it. Tell me down in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think I'm right and this is hinting towards some sort of release and it could be in January or even November? Do you think that there's something else going on here? Tell me down in the comments below your opinion. Also, make sure to subscribe and like this video because that'd be really awesome if you did. Also, make sure to join the Discord. Always fun over there. This has been khcentral, and I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that will be. So yeah, bye!